Well, it's a great day in the Going for Two podcast world. I am your host, Hunter Waldrop. This is my best friend, co-host Jansen Jasperson. It was a great week for college football. As you
Yes, it
can tell,
was, man.
I'm very happy. That was a great way to kick this thing off, man.
No, it
I'm so
was.
excited. Great week. I'm not going to waste any time. Let's dive right on into it because this show is jam-packed, baby.
Man, I'm excited to get into this week, man. Last weekend was some crazy football. Georgia knocked off Tennessee, taking the number one spot in the college football playoff rankings. Notre Dame falls. Clemson falls to Notre Dame. Bama falls again, but we're gonna get into that here in a minute. And let's dive on in. We got a lot of things to cover, so let's
That's
get
right.
on into it. Well, if you aren't yet, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Going for Two podcast with Jason and Hunter. Make sure you turn on our notification bell. That way, every week when we post, you'll get a notification sent to your phone or your computer that's telling you that we posted a new episode. And hit that subscribe button, leave us a like, leave us a comment. Tell us what you think we could do better. We want to be more involved with you guys as we have a new segment coming up that we'll get into here in a little bit.
Yeah, the comment section's definitely about to be involved.
Yes.
Quick note. So the reason why I added the bell on here is because I actually had somebody come up to me this past weekend at the Georgia tailgate that I was at, and he was like, "Man, I didn't know what ringing the bell was." So this is what it looks like. Sometimes you find it next to the little subscribe button there at the bottom, or if you just click on our page, it's in the top right, and this is what it looks like on the left, and then when you've hit the button, it'll look like the one in the middle, and then whenever you get a notification, it'll look like the one on the right. So that's why I added that on there, just to give everybody a little bit of a visual representation of what it looks like.
Awesome. And follow us on Twitter at going_for2. Hunter and I get on there every weekend and we send out some tweets that we have talked about or games that we've talked about on the podcast and then games that we're watching over the weekend. And it's another way to be in touch with you guys and being connected with our listeners and our fans. So if you could follow us on YouTube and on Twitter, we would greatly appreciate that. But all right, let's dive into this past week. Man, oh man.
Man, it just looks better every time I get to look at it. But how about them dogs, baby?
How about it, baby?
I know we're going to spend a good amount of time on this, but man, that was the best environment of a Georgia game I've ever been to, for sure. I've seen a few different numbers pop up as far as decibel level goes, but I think on the screen at Sanford it said like 135, 136, but some people have been saying 137, saying it was the loudest ever. I don't know about all that, but it was loud. Needless to say, like my ears were ringing like a while after the game was over. And the thing was, man, it's like I've been to Georgia games before where it's been, a top ranked matchup like Notre Dame in 2018 and then last year against Arkansas. And then Georgia will get out to a somewhat of a decent lead and the crowd just kind of dies down because the game's in hand. But it was almost like the later the game got. And when it started pouring down rain, the fans had every excuse to either leave or be quiet. And when it started raining, everybody got louder and louder and louder. And that defense, man, this is the defense that we had talked about, with a bunch of young stars. They made their names felt, and this was tremendous. This was they're leaving their mark right now saying we're number one.
This is
And
the biggest win Georgia could have this year, I think. I think that or other than a national championship, which they could possibly go back to back, which I would not be surprised by seeing. But I mean, this Tennessee offense we saw was clicking on every cylinder, was putting up 50 points a game, and that just shows how good this Georgia defense is. And another thing that I want to mention is people don't understand. Look how good Oregon is, and look what we did to Oregon at the beginning of the year.
exactly.
That should just show you how good that this Georgia team is. And I think Tennessee can bounce back from this and definitely run the table, but they will not be in the SEC championship now that they lost to Georgia. But if they run the table and then Georgia loses in the SEC championship, they do have a shot at making the college football playoff. But it is a very long shot for sure.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is like this score does not indicate how Georgia dominated the game.
No.
Held Tennessee to under 100 rushing yards. Hendon Hooker, no touchdowns on the ground, throwing nothing. And the biggest thing is Georgia made Tennessee play their game. They were not going to let Tennessee beat them over the top. Tennessee ran a bunch of comeback routes, faked the long shot downfield, and come back to the ball because they could not beat them over the top. And whenever they did have an open receiver over the top, the pressure was too much. Hooker was definitely the most uncomfortable that he had been in the pocket all year. And then the false start penalties. Like I remember there was 1 3rd and 3, and it ended up being like 3rd and 13 or something because of the crowd back-to-back false starts. It got to him, man. And Stetson Bennett, the mailman, coming up in big game
Delivered.
situations, big game stat. I talked about it on last week's show. Big games, Stetson Bennett comes out, he plays his game, and Tennessee's defense got exposed for what it really was.
He answered the call.
Yeah, that's right. He did answer the call. That was funny. That little celebration he had at the end, but yeah, that's just an awesome game. This is probably top of the list for me for best games, Georgia games I've ever been to. Number 2, actually. Best home game. Number 1 Georgia game I've ever been to was the Rose Bowl in 2017 against Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
So, yeah. But, man, it was just kind of like – I want to make this reference real quick. You know what Tennessee played like on Saturday? They've been here.
Like?
So it's like a kid who just got learned how to get potty trained, you know? Like, he's got all these people coming up, like, congratulations. Like, yo, you know how to use the bathroom? Yeah, yada. And then, like, as soon as, like,
2 days later, he craps all over himself.
Yeah, he pees down his leg. And he forgets how to use the bathroom.
No, that's exactly how this Tennessee team was. All the hype was on them, and then they were sitting on their high horse, and then Georgia came in and knocked them right off. So, which I love to see because a bunch of cards up there in Tennessee.
Oh, yeah, we had to quiet them up. But Tennessee, I will say, yes, like you said, their playoff chances did dim a lot, but they got a lot of help from Alabama losing. They got a lot of help from Clemson losing. So they're not out of it. I know we have a playoff outlook slide that we're going to discuss here in a few slides or whatnot, but yeah, man, Georgia, pretty simple. Just went out. You just got to keep letting teams play your game, and I mean, they're looking like the odds-on favorite right now, if you ask me. So,
yeah. And hey, man, good teams win, great teams
cover.
So, all right, well, let's dive into the other games.
Yes, sir. So I'll kick this one off because I came on here last week and said that Notre Dame was going to beat Clemson at home, and I know a lot of people might not have watched this game, but because the LSU-Alabama game was going on at the same time, and whenever you check the Notre Dame score, Clemson was getting blown out. But from the first drive until the final drive, this game was never in doubt. Notre Dame wanted it. They were at home. They had all the momentum, and Clemson got exposed for what they really were. And here's the thing. People are like, oh, well, Notre Dame's gotten better since – yeah, they have, but they're still not good, guys. Like, they're 5-3. They lost to Marshall, who is one of the bottom-tier teams in the Sun Belt. They lost to Stanford, who is the last team in the Pac-12, if I'm not mistaken.
They're just a bunch of smart kids.
Yeah, and they lost to Ohio State. But they lost to Stanford and Marshall at home. Clemson rolls in there, and they got whooped. I mean, from the first drive off the block punt that was scored for a touchdown, and then – oh, my gosh. I mean, it was just like Notre Dame had it rolling. Their offense really is not that good. And Clemson's defense, I mean, they're just not playing good. Notre Dame's offensive line has improved. And then, obviously, you have the whole quarterback debacle. I think it's time. All right, Klubnik from here on out, I say. DJ didn't look good at all.
No.
And then they bring in Clay. They bring in Cade at a weird time, and his first possession, he throws an interception. Then they bring DJ back in, they start driving, and he throws a 95-yard pick six. So it was just a disaster. And I think Clemson was in the same boat as TCU. If either one of them lose, the playoff committee was looking for an excuse to write them off. And so I think Clemson, even if they run the rest of their table and they beat North Carolina in the ACC championship game, they still I don't see them getting in unless chaos happens. So
Yeah, I don't
they
see them
fell.
coming either.
They fell all the way down to 10. So
I think it's going to be Clemson, and Clemson will play Alabama in a bowl game this year.
Yeah.
At most.
in the Orange Bowl. Oh, this reminds me, I forgot to update the rankings on the Week 11 preview slide, so apologies for that in a second. But we can. That's not a big deal at
We
all.
can cover it when we get to it.
Yeah, but yeah, you can give your thoughts on as far as what you thought about this game.
I mean, I had faith in Clemson, and I thought Clemson was going to cover, and I thought that they were going to win this game because they needed to if they wanted to keep their playoff hopes alive. But I mean, I really blame this on Dabo because you played DJ, who's been so inconsistent all freaking year, and Cade Klubnik, who's came in and saved your playoff hopes multiple times, and you continue to play the guy that's cost you like almost that you continue to play the guy that has almost cost you games. Syracuse. I mean, look at this. Like
Florida State with one possession.
you only put up 14 on a Notre Dame defense that's not ranked. Like that's not highly talked about. I think it's embarrassing for the Clemson organization. I think it's embarrassing for Dabo Swinney because if he was really the smart head coach that everybody thinks he is, he would have played Cade because Cade gave them the best chance to win, and DJ does not. So I think that Clemson does deserve this loss. And shout out to Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame for taking care of business against Clemson. This game right here makes fans look and go, "Oh yeah, I forgot you lost to Marshall." They aren't going to remember this. They're going to remember you beating Clemson. They aren't going to remember you losing to Marshall. But I mean, I will. But and I know you will. But I just think I think it looks bad on Dabo. But I get the kid is a freshman, and DJ is the vet. But I mean,
Trevor Lawrence was a freshman.
I know, but still.
And the thing is like they even had a bye week before they played Notre Dame, man. Like they didn't play last week.
No, they didn't.
They could have given him a whole opportunity for first team reps only, in a week of practice with no game.
Yep.
I don't know. I think they should, and I think they probably will end up doing playing Cade from here on out as the starter.
Did they bring him in this game?
Yeah, he threw an interception on his first drive.
Cade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was in the third quarter.
I mean, you can't really blame.
I mean, he was trying to make a play. He made a freshman play, and I mean they were already down, and he was trying to be a little bit too much of a hero. But who knows? We'll see. We'll move on to the next ACC game. This was the battle for who was going to get kicked out of the rankings. Wake Forest took on NC State. I'm just going to be quite frank with everybody that listens to this. I didn't really dive into this game a whole lot. All I know is that MJ Morris, the freshman quarterback who's taken over for Devin Leary, looked pretty good from what I did see, and that Wake Forest defense is continuing to get exposed. And Sam Hartman has fallen off the past 2 weeks now against Louisville and North Carolina State. So,
yep.
I ain't got a whole lot to say on that because there's not a whole lot of neither one of these teams are making the ACC title game. It was a ranked matchup that we felt like we needed to put on here last week. And I don't know. Wake Forest, we will talk about them here in a little bit. NC State, you're now ranked 16th.
They got a bounce back spot this week. Wake Forest does.
So we'll see.
But I mean, there's not really much to bounce back from. Your season's kind of over.
Yep. I'll let you discuss your Texas boys real quick.
Man, Texas. I told Hunter, we were talking about it here a little bit ago. I just think, what's his name? I didn't watch this game. What's his name play for Kansas State?
Who, Martinez?
I
didn't watch this game either. I was at Georgia game. It was at 3:30. I didn't watch it.
Yeah. But my thing with Kansas State, I think Kansas State, like we said at the beginning of the year, is the team that they're going to beat teams that they shouldn't, and they're going to lose to teams that they shouldn't. I don't think that they should have lost to Texas here because Texas has been inconsistent this year and does have some holes that need to be filled. And, I mean, props to Texas, though, for getting a big dub in Kansas. So
Manhattan. I got you on
Manhattan,
the city.
Kansas. What's up?
I got you on the city.
No, yeah, you got me. But Texas, you have a tough week this week that I think your flaws might show up in, but we'll talk about that here more in a little bit. But Kansas State, who do they play? Who does Kansas State play this week? They play.
I don't know.
Who do they? It
I don't
doesn't
know.
even matter.
It does not matter
No, it doesn't
because
matter. They're not.
well, now here's the interesting thing. This is Big 12 football is awesome. Texas, Kansas State, and Baylor are all tied for second place, while TCU's got that that nod for being undefeated, and they're top of the Big 12 rankings for whoever's going to make the championship game because it's all based off record. And now Texas has the tiebreaker over Kansas State. So, yeah, if everything falls out of place, if Kansas State somehow, if Kansas State and Texas both went out and they were tied for second, Texas would go to the Big 12 championship game. I believe Kansas State plays Baylor this week, to answer your question. Because I know Baylor still has Kansas State, TCU, and
Yes,
Texas
they
on
play.
their schedule.
They
So,
play in Waco.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. So we'll see how that ends up. The Bears are still tied for
If they
second.
want their hopes alive, they need a.
Well, Baylor has to run the table. If Baylor runs the table, they're in. I'm pretty sure. So
Yeah, but
they still got to play the top 10 teams.
Kansas State wants to win the Big 12, they got to win this week.
Yeah.
And Texas has to lose, and then because then you'll have another three-way tie.
These are two very good three-loss teams, Texas and Kansas State. Texas has moved to, let's see, I got it right here on my phone, 18th.
18, yeah.
And Kansas State is 19th in the rankings. So
yeah.
After last night. So we will see. But, man, we'll head over to College Station, Texas, where we have the Fighting 3-5, 3-6 now, Jimbo Fisher, Aggies. My God. Wow.
This was the flu game for Texas A&M. Texas A&M had, I think, 11 of their starters out due to the flu. So there was a big, huge sickness cloud just floating over Texas. I mean, we all saw I was pretty sick, but I didn't have the flu, luckily. But I think that was their big reason on why they lost to Florida. But Florida, man, you blew.
Anthony Richardson looked pretty solid.
Say again?
I said Anthony Richardson actually looked pretty solid
against 3
Yeah,
and 6
no, I know.
A&M.
But I mean, Florida, well, they're in the same boat as Texas A&M, if you ask
Sure.
me.
Yeah.
He was able to use his legs, which that was one thing. Like, if teams don't allow him to use his legs, then Florida's not going to be a successful offense. But when he's able to use his legs, you better watch out. And they let him use his legs, and it came back to bite him. They let this excuse me. They let this terrible Florida offense put up 41 points.
Which is ridiculous.
And A&M, so close, but no cigar, still has not put up 30 points this season.
So close yet so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
so these are two toilet draining teams
in Kyle Field in a tough environment.
So A&M now has to win out to be bowl eligible.
Yeah.
And they play Auburn this week. I think they play an FCS, and then they play FCS school next week, and then they play and then they actually they already lost to App State this year.
Yeah.
So then they finish out the year at home against LSU. So we shall see.
It's gonna be an L.
But who knows, man? The A&M, Desmond Howard picked them to win the Natty at the beginning of the year. So
Speaking of LSU,
let's quit talking about bottom tier SEC teams and let's start talking about
well, I mean, we're talking about Alabama here, so we kind of are talking about bottom tier SEC teams.
Ooh, shots already coming.
Oh, man, I'm fired up about this Alabama team. The dynasty is over.
Yeah, I actually got a text from my Alabama friend the other day.
No national championship in 5 years
told
with
me,
Nick Saban? Yeah, Nick Saban, get out.
he told
Retire.
me he put like he kind of like conceded in the text to where this dynasty is over and y'all are on track to be the next one. Enjoy it while it lasts.
Hey, man, I called it at the beginning of the year. This was going to be the year that Alabama was going to suck and that Nick Saban was going to retire.
You did say Saban was going to retire, but I don't know if he will. I think what they're going to end up doing is they're going to fire both coordinators, or they're going to ask Bill O'Brien to go take another job elsewhere. They're going to fire Pete Golding, their defensive coordinator, and Saban will hire a new staff, and he'll stay around. If it's the same thing next year, I think he'll call it quits. That's kind of what my mindset is. But Bryce
Bill
Young,
O'Brien needs to stay in college. Don't go back to the NFL.
I don't think
Speaking
he's
as a
going.
Houston Texans fan, yeah, don't go to the NFL. You'll ruin a team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Bryce Young, man, he's the greatest quarterback to ever play at Alabama. That is a fact. He is the greatest quarterback to ever play at Alabama, and this year he has the worst wide receiver core to ever play at Alabama, at least under the Saban era.
You think he's better than Jalen Hurts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts never won a natty as a starter.
True. Neither is Bryce Young.
I guess Bryce Young hasn't. I guess
Neither is Bryce Young.
I forgot about that. Whoops.
Okay, this is my thing. Bryce Young is the biggest wasted talent I have ever seen.
But Jalen Hurts didn't make his like little Heisman run until his senior year at Oklahoma, or his little grad transfer year. Bryce Young, he did it as a sophomore. He's still
Bryce Young reminds me of Johnny Manziel.
Let me just say right now, if Alabama didn't have Bryce Young on their team, they would be like 4-4 or whatever. However many games they've played. I think they
5-5.
5-4, whatever it is. They would have lost to A&M.
5-4.
They would have lost to Texas. And who's to say that if Bryce Young didn't play at all in the Arkansas game,
maybe they would have lost.
Maybe they would have lost to Arkansas.
Oh, Arkansas. Yeah. Not a Mississippi State. Sorry, Arkansas. Yeah.
So, man, this is rough. And if that were the case, Nick Saban would be retiring after this year. But he does have Bryce Young, and we will talk about them boys from Bama here in a little bit as they go on the road again. Like I said last week, until you can prove to me that you can win on the road. Oh, wow, Jansen. And until you can prove to me that you can go play good on the road, I'm going to bet against you. And I actually ended up picking LSU to win this game outright. Big game, Brian Kelly. Man, Jaden Daniels.
Set of nuts on Brian Kelly for going for 2 in overtime.
Yeah, the set of nuts on that man for just like, yep, we're ending it right here. And I think honestly, yes, obviously, it looks like the right call because they got it. But I thought it was the right call even if they didn't get it, because it was the first playoff overtime, Jane Daniels 25-yard touchdown run. They had the momentum. It was right there, and they wanted it. They just wanted it more. It was a great play call. The freshman tight end, Mason Thompson, or I forgot what his last name is. His first name's Mason. That kid's going to be good.
Yeah.
And they had some freshman DBs out there playing really good defense. LSU now controls its own destiny to the SEC championship. They are ranked 7th. I think they're going to be trapped at 7, possibly 6. I just don't see a world where even if they win the SEC, where they get into the playoff. I could be wrong, but we've never seen a 2-loss team get in. I don't think that'll change this year.
I don't think it will either.
But shout out to Brian Kelly and the Tigers, man. They're looking legit. They're playing their best ball at the right time. Real team show out in November. And that's why Brian Kelly went there. You can see the players have just bought into what the man's been doing, and you love to see it. I mean, it's awesome. They hit the road to Fayetteville, Arkansas this week. Now, Arkansas
pissed off Arkansas team losing
Arkansas
their homecoming
lost
game.
to Liberty, coached by Hugh Freeze, on homecoming, and you got to be in the great city of Fayetteville when it happened.
Yes, I did.
But
the energy was not very
welcoming.
Yeah.
But
was not very homecoming like.
Yeah. But Arkansas is actually only a 3-point dog. LSU's only favored by 3 on the road. We'll talk a little bit more about that game. LSU has moved up to 7th I actually think I got that one right on the next slide because I made this on Monday and I forgot to change it. But LSU's moved up to 7th on the polls from 10, and Alabama has dropped down to number 9. I personally would
Don't
have
know.
both Clemson and Alabama out of the top 10. Because
I
if
agree.
value wins that much, I feel like teams like North Carolina, I'm not saying these teams are better, but off of a ranking and where they deserve to be placed, I have uh, Alabama at 12, Clemson at 13, and I do have UNC and Ole Miss above them.
But I
And
mean,
you-
the reason why Alabama's in top 10 is because they are Alabama. I
100,
hate
100%.
I hate the playoff committee because, like, it's obvious they don't watch the games. They just go off of, oh, it's Alabama. Let's put them in at 10. Just like if, I don't know. I'm
I
gonna say
don't
the
know. I
same
just feel
thing
like
about.
there's
I'm
so
gonna say the
much.
same thing about Texas and Baylor. Like, I don't think Texas deserves to be ranked, and Baylor doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like whatever logo's on the side of your helmet come Saturdays, that says more. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like teams are getting disrespected and they're not getting a fair chance on where to be ranked. Now, some of their resumes are bad. Like North Carolina hasn't played a single good team all year. The one ranked team they have played is Notre Dame and they lost. So I understand, but they are 11-1, or they only have one loss. I don't know. I'm not going to get in the rankings right now because it doesn't really matter until 2 or 3 weeks from now. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to waste my energy on that. Wow, we got through that in 27 minutes. I'm proud of us.
It's pretty good.
Let's keep that pace.
Yeah, let's keep that pace. All right. I was just about to say, let's go on to the next this upcoming week. Or no, we got college football playoff outlook. Yeah.
Yep. So, wow, we've dwindled it down. There was a lot more teams on this list last week, and now we have dwindled it down to, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 teams who have one loss. And then I guess if you wanted to just put LSU in there, you could. I mean, I really wouldn't mind that at all because I guess you could say they have a shot. But the top 4 in the undefeated section, that's how I would rank. I'd have Georgia 1, Michigan ahead of Ohio State. Both these teams struggled on Saturday, but Michigan looks better. And these boys from Ohio State will see what winning in the trenches looks like when Michigan runs it up and down their throat in a few weeks. I'm not scared to say it right now. Michigan's going to beat Ohio State. They're
Oh,
going to
I
give them
think so too.
everything they want.
I think so. After what Ohio State showed us this week against a 1-7 Northwestern
I don't
team.
care how bad the wind or the weather was because what Northwestern team had to play in it too. That's another thing with these Tennessee fans. Well, it started raining. We couldn't run our offense. Did it not start raining on the Georgia offense and defense too? I mean, both teams have to play in it. I really don't care. You're Ohio State. You're undefeated. And Northwestern has one win against a terrible Nebraska team and has lost to 2 FCS teams since then and have not won a game. Like, you only won 21-7.
And their win came in week 1 in freaking Dublin, Ireland. Like,
Exactly.
that
No, they
doesn't
didn't
even
even get a week
count.
1 win. They got a week 0 win.
Week 0 win. Yeah, it doesn't even count.
This is another team. I really don't know if they would be ranked in the top. I don't know. They might be 4 if they didn't say Ohio State on the side on their logo. But I don't know. I could be wrong about that.
Because look, if that was TCU
Oh, they wouldn't be.
playing like West Virginia, and they were that West Virginia kept it that close with TCU, are you kidding me? TCU would not be at the number 4 spot.
I don't think so either.
They
But
need to
this
put
is
you
how
and
I
I on
have
the playoff committee.
them. But I don't know how you'd have them. I think me and you agreed on this, though, right?
No, I'd have Georgia, Michigan, TCU, then Ohio State.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
But which I don't have an issue with.
But honestly,
Right, what?
I told my dad this the other day. If I were to give you my 4 that I would put in for the best football playoff that I think could be the best, I'm putting Georgia at the 1. I'm putting Michigan at the 2.
I agree.
I'm putting TCU at the 3, and I'm putting Oregon at the 4.
Is that like today, or that's how you think it's going to pan out?
No, that's if I were to put it in today. That's what I would
gotcha.
have. Ohio State would not make the playoff.
I could see that, but
But
they'll take care of each other come come rivalry weekend. But
And shout out Mason Thomas. You told me to get off the Ohio State Kool-Aid, and man, I am off of it. I am off of it.
I'm on the big blue Kool-Aid.
I'm on. I jumped wagons, and I'm on the big blue Kool-Aid. That blue raspberry.
I'm on. All right, so never mind. One loss contenders. We got Tennessee, Oregon, and Southern Cal. Yes, I think Southern Cal is still considered a contender. They only have one loss by 1 point on the road at Utah. People are kind of writing them off. These teams are ranked 5, 7, or 5, 6, and 8. LSU would be in the middle of Oregon and USC, but they have 2 losses. So I decided not to add them on here. Tennessee got a lot of help. Like I said earlier, Clemson losing, Bama losing. It's pretty simple. I mean, Ohio State and Michigan, one of them is going to have a loss. I think it's going to come down to, does the committee want a one-loss Michigan and Ohio State? Do they want a one-loss Pac-12 champion Oregon / USC / UCLA? Or do they want a one-loss Tennessee? And I think the committee would put in an Oregon.
One-loss Clemson or.
And depending on how no, they're not going to. Clemson's done. That's why I put them in long shot. I don't see that. So let's just say we'll do a little play the scenario thing.
I mean, they wear orange and purple, and the
they dropped from 4
to those colors.
They dropped from 4 to 10. They actually did the right thing. I don't even think they should be in it.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a little scenario. You tell me. Let's say Georgia wins out SEC championship. Okay, number 1. Let's say TCU wins out. Actually, no. We'll have TCU take a loss this week to Texas. They win their next 2 games against – hang on. They win their next 2 games. They play Texas again in the Big 12 championship and beat them. So they avenge the loss. Okay. And then we have – let's say that Michigan beats Ohio State and wins the Big 10 championship. Tennessee runs the table. And then we'll say Southern Cal runs the table and beats Oregon in the Pac-12 championship.
Who am I putting in?
Who you putting in? You obviously got to put in Georgia. And then you have a one-loss TCU team that won the Big 12, an undefeated Michigan.
I was about to say who wins Michigan, Ohio State.
Michigan beats Ohio State and wins the Big 10, so they'd be number 2.
Okay, then I'm going to put in Georgia, Michigan. I'm going to put in a one-loss USC team.
Me as well.
And then I'm going to put in a one-loss TCU team. That way you get every conference. I
like that. I really do. And I think why I have Oregon and USC. Oregon's getting a lot of talk, but the reason why I have USC in the contenders and UCLA in the long shots is because it's the USC brand. Like we were talking about brands, USC brand versus the UCLA brand. And people want USC to be good. And I feel like they would put them in if they would have run the table and win the Pac-12. They would put them in as a one-loss team over. And I don't think UCLA would get that nod over a Tennessee or over a one-loss Michigan / Ohio State.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
North Carolina, like we said earlier, very, very weak resume, but they do only have one loss. They're going to need a lot of chaos. They're ranked 15th. The committee does not have a lot of respect on their name. They're kind of like in the same boat as Alabama. If they didn't have Drake May, they'd be 500 fighting for a bowl spot. But hey, he's a dog. I think
he's a dog.
He's going to be good for them. Ole Miss, kind of a sleeper. They're ranked number 11 right now. 1 spot behind the Tide. They play each other this week.
I mean, if they win this week, then
if they win against Alabama and win the rest of their games, they have the Egg Bowl at the end of the year. And LSU loses this week to Arkansas or loses to Texas A&M at the end of the year. Ole Miss will be heading to Atlanta. And I think if Ole Miss, they have 1 loss right now. So, I mean, they have to win out to make the playoff, but they still got a shot. They'd have to beat Georgia. They have to run the table. And then you have Clemson. I don't even think are they really a top 15 team? I'm not sure if they are.
I don't think they are.
If
DJ's playing now.
They look bad. But we'll see. They still have 1 loss. But I feel like them dropping down to 10, they're going to need a lot of stuff to happen in order for them to jump up there. So
They're going to need Tennessee to lose again. They're going to need Oregon to lose again. They're going to need USC to lose again. They're going to need all this craziness to get back up there. Ohio
Yeah.
State's going to have to lose to Michigan. TCU's going to have to lose. Because honestly, I think the only reason the committee put TCU in is because they were undefeated.
They had no choice to.
Yeah, they had no choice. But
Yeah,
I promise you, if they lose this week,
they're dropping so
they're
far down.
dropping so fast, it's going to make your head spin.
Yeah.
They're going to have TCU ranked before anybody else. As soon as they lose, game will be over. Like, what time's game start? Like noon?
I'm not sure, but probably.
Yeah. But if they play at noon, rankings will come out at like 5 for them. But it's a joke. It's a joke.
Oh, man.
Right, well, let's get into week 11.
Is that what we got coming up?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get it, bud.
Oh, no, it's our – yeah.
Yeah, but we're getting ready.
I forgot we added this.
Yeah. With you and your little dusty self.
You took me up on a –
I said last week, I was like, look, this week either Jansen's going to take his first lead of the year or I'm about to get some separation of me getting Notre Dame right, LSU right, and him choosing – and me got Texas covering the spread against Kansas State, and he had Kansas State winning outright. I gained a lot of points. So, yeah I got a 6-point lead. I've got a little bit of distance, so I made one ballsy play this week to help. So hopefully I don't, hopefully it doesn't get too close.
Hopefully you don't turn into Tennessee and pee down your leg. So.
So Jansen and I have been thinking about doing this for a while. And if you're watching on YouTube, that's great. If you're just listening while the video plays, that's great as well. I'm going to explain it. But we're having a contest, guys. We're having a contest. So we have 6 games this week that we are picking from that you'll see here in a second. And if you want to play, you can play along with us. And you do what we do every week. We pick who we think is going to win, who's going to cover the spread. Pretty simple. And we've shown how the point system works on the previous slide. And we actually have the point scale again here at the bottom of the slide. But whoever gets the most points will have the opportunity to be a guest picker on the show with the two of us for next week, or if next week doesn't work out, we can find a future pod that will work for you. And you can't text this to me. You can't say, oh, well, I think this, and expect me to remember. The only people
you have to put it in the comment section.
You have to put it in the comments. So we can
go back and refer to it. We're not doing you can't text either one of us. Got to be in the comment section.
Be in the comment section. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And I'll just review the point system again. 1 point if you just guess who's going to win the game correct. You get 2 points if you get the winner correct and the spread correct. And you get 3 points if you predict an underdog to win a game outright against a favorite. So that's how that works. I enjoy looking forward to reading these comments.
And guys, make sure y'all put in your pick'ems. Like, we want to get more involved with you guys, and Hunter and I thought this would be a great way to get involved with y'all. So
yeah, for sure.
Who you think is going to win this week. We're going to go over the games here in just a minute, and we're looking forward to seeing who wins it. And if you can't come on next week, then we can figure something out and get you on one of them.
Yeah, we'll get you on here in the last few weeks, but
yeah,
we definitely want to have, and we will do this again, but we want to get, we want to get more people on here. We want to get involved. Be active in the comment section. If you have a question or if you want our thoughts on something, please tell us. We will
comment and we'll answer, because Hunter and I get on there and we check comments frequently. And if you got a question, put it in and we'll get back to you and we'll answer it. So
I think we're at, what is it, 44, 45 subscribers?
I think 45 now.
I think we hit 45. Guys, tell your friends, steal your mama's phones, hit the subscribe button.
Tell your mama's friends, tell your daddy's friends, tell your grandma's friends, tell your friends, tell your dog's friends.
That's right. We're 5 away, man. crazy. I definitely did not.
No,
think
yeah,
it would
I
go.
didn't think
But I
you.
enjoy doing this, man,
Me
and I
too.
hope more people get there. Let's try to get to 50 before bowl season starts here in the next 3 weeks, 4
Yes.
weeks. So
Yes. All right. Well.
let's do it. Come on.
All right. So here are the games for this week. We got
Hang on.
game.
We'll just go one by one.
All right. Go ahead.
We'll go one by one. So this is the Going for Two pod game of the week. The number 4 ranked TCU Horned Frogs, a Cinderella story, hitting the road to Austin, taking on the 20th ranked. Oh, no, that's not right. See, told you I forgot to change this. They're actually now ranked 18th. The 18th ranked Texas Longhorns, excuse the 20. The Texas Longhorns are 7-point favorites. Yes, the team that's ranked 19th or 18th, whatever it is, now they're favored by a team that's would be in the college football playoff of the season ended today. Yeah, because Texas, they are good. They are a good team. They have home field advantage. Yes, they are good, Jansen. Stop shaking your head down there.
No, they're
But Max Duggan is good. If Quentin Johnson plays, I might end up taking TCU and adding a few points on there because he's been out. The biggest concern I think for both these teams is TCU plays really good in the second half. They struggle in the first half, and I think it's the exact opposite for Texas. Texas comes out strong and then plays very, very questionable in the second half. So it's kind of like the pregame thoughts that I have.
Yeah.
You can go ahead with what
All right,
you have
well.
to say.
You want to get into our score predictions?
Go ahead.
All right. So I have the TCU Horned Frogs going into Austin and conquering the Matthew McConaughey Texas Longhorns. We got my thing with Texas is they've been so inconsistent this year. I think that Quinn is great, and they do have potential to beat a TCU team like this and knock them out of the top 4. But I just don't see it happening. I think TCU is playing really good ball right now. I think they're playing very well, staying in rhythm. I know they've kind of had some hiccups here and there, and they've had to come back against a couple past couple weeks, but I think they've kind of got everything together now, and I'm going to take TCU to cover 3 against Texas. I'm going to take their points +7, and I'm going to sprinkle on their money line. But I think TCU beats Texas 34-31 in Austin. And we are going to get into Hunter's score prediction now.
You boys know where I'm heading with my pick. Yeah. Quinn Ewers and the boys are traveling. Actually, they're staying at home, and we are going. Not we. I'm a big Georgia fan, but the boys of Texas are going to absolutely show TCU who runs this state, and it is going to be Quinn Ewers, Steve Sark, and the boys. You know why?
I'm about to get 3 points right here because they're the underdog.
Vegas knows. You are such a square. You know that?
Oh, I know. I'm betting so square on this.
Vegas knows. I already have money on Texas -5.5 in this game. I'm so confident in the boys.
Well, he's a poon. He had to buy it down.
Okay.
Hey, look, you got him winning by 7.
I'm sorry. How much? Well, that's just because that's what Vegas has it at, and they usually are spot on. They've been really very, very good recently, so I'm just trying to. I'm trying not to. I'm not going to go against what those boys say out there, except for like whenever Alabama plays, because obviously, I'm fading Alabama every time they play on the road. But yeah,
wear your little cowboy hat, jump on your little horse, ride your way down onto the sports book, and place it 7. If you're a true man of your word.
Hang on, you can start talking about the next game. Give me 1 second.
All right, here's what we got this week for week 11. We got North Carolina playing Wake Forest. Wake Forest lost last week to NC State. North Carolina is ranked 15 in the nation, and they got the Demon Deacons favored at 3.5 points this week. And honestly, Hunter, I don't know what you're going to do here, But I think this is a great bounce back spot for Wake, and I don't think North Carolina is all that good, like you said. If what's his name wasn't, I'm drawing a blank. What's his name?
Oh, I'm
Quarterback.
sorry. You just hang on 1 second since you wanted to call me out. How about you put me on full screen real quick?
Okay. What you doing?
Hang on. Let me do that real quick. Okay. Oh,
What does
come
that
on.
say?
Focus. It's not focusing, but I just put money on Texas -7.
How much?
It's an undisclosed amount. Okay.
Oh yeah, we don't have to say how much. Just all right.
Oh, I tell you, you'll
Yeah,
understand
you
this
can- you
language.
you you can
Two
you can send
units.
me a little
2
screenshot.
units.
Okay.
2 units. You understand my language.
Yeah, I do. 20
Since you wanted
unit.
to call me
You
out,
should,
but
20 unit mega whale.
no, that was the UGA game last
Yeah, I
week.
was about to say that was UGA. But here, let's get back into this week now that we're done talking about Texas. Because I mean
Yep.
they're gonna lose anyway, so we don't need to spend much time on them. But like I said, you got the Demon Deacons favored at 3.5 against the 15th ranked Tar Heels. I think this is a great bounce back spot after Wake Forest losing last week. They're playing at home, coming back home. And I think that Wake Forest wins this game, but I think that North Carolina covers 3.5.
Yeah, this is a very, very sketch line. Because everybody and their brother really like, including me, like I really want to take North Carolina. It's like fighting a very big urge in me to not do so.
It would be square to take, just like it'd be square to take TCU. It'd be
Yeah.
square to take North Carolina.
Yeah, 100%. Did you by the way, did you announce while I was on my phone trying to find Texas at -7 that these are the games and the Texas game and these 5 games are the ones they're supposed to comment on? And
Yes. Oh,
okay.
no, I did not say that, but
Yeah, these are the ones, these 5 games, and then the Texas and TCU game. Tell us who you think's going to win. Tell us who you think's going to cover the spread, and that's how the contest will work. But now that we're done with that, I'm going to take Wake Forest to win this football game. They are favored for a reason. I don't bet against Vegas, man. Most of the time, at least. But it's not in situations like this, low spread and a team that a lot of people are going to be fading. I'm going to take Wake Forest. And I will go ahead and lay down the 3.5.
you think they're going to win by 3.5?
Can we call it even at 3?
Yeah, we can.
Thank you. I appreciate you, kind
Because I'm
sir.
going to take. Okay, then yeah, I'm going to take Wake -3 then.
Okay, let's do that.
Because I mean, at 4, because at 3.5, you basically got to score a touchdown.
Yeah, I like that a
Basically
lot
gotta
better at
win a
3.
touchdown, so.
And I will not be putting money on that game, so don't
No, I
even
will
bother
not either.
putting me on that one. But I am confident in Texas.
But I will
All
be
right.
touching this next game.
I will be as well. These are my dogs right here. So we have a group of 5. We are no longer a group of 5 haters. We talked about them a little bit at the beginning of the year, and then started like not being so good because like U of H sucked. So Tulane, my boys from Tulane, we've talked about them on here once or twice with the Beer Deer pick because these boys cover the spread 89% of the time. It has been a guaranteed lock every single week. And they're taking on a very well-known group of 5 team that has won a Peach Bowl, played in the Fiesta Bowl not too long ago under Scott Frost, the UCF Gold Knights, now led by former Auburn head coach Gus Malzahn. And with former Ole Miss quarterback / running back / wide receiver / tight end John Reese Plumlee playing quarterback for them. They're pretty good. I know you might we wrote down some notes because, I mean, obviously these aren't 2 teams we watch every single week, but it is teams we wanted to cover. And just for clarification, Tulane is ranked 17th and UCF is ranked 23rd after last night. So actually 22nd. Tulane is 17, and UCF is 22nd. So that's just for anybody that's actually watching it. It's like, oh, you got it wrong. Well, yeah, I got it wrong. I'm clarifying it now. You can go ahead and talk about the Golden Knights.
So there are a couple names that I want to talk about on this UCF team that have been playing very well this year. Starting off with John Plumlee, the quarterback. I mean, he is a dual threat. You don't just have to worry about his arm, but you got to worry about his legs. He has 1,883 passing yards and 532 rushing yards. He has 11 TDs and 6 interceptions on the year, and is just an absolute unit. I think he's a great quarterback at UCF. I think him and Gus work very well together. And then you got weapons like Ryan O'Keefe and Javon Baker. Ryan O'Keefe has 536 yards on the season with 4 touchdowns. And Javon Baker has 36 receptions for 504 yards and 3 TDs. And then those are their wide receiver 1 and 2. And then on their defense, you have studs like Jason Johnson and Devod Wilson. Jason Johnson is a linebacker. He leads the team with 85 tackles on the season. And then Devod Wilson is a DB on this UCF team who leads the team in interceptions with 3. I think if I were to tell you who I think is going to win this game, I think UCF is. I just don't know. I know Tulane has been absolute dogs this year, which I have not. Like, I've been so surprised by. I did not see that coming. But I think this is kind of the end of the road for them, and I think this UCF team is a little too strong for them to take care of. And so I'm going to take UCF to win the game. I'm going to take them as my dog.
Dude, this is actually going to be a really good football game to watch. Like, I understand they're not too high, powered, or, they don't have the big names. Like, if you just like watching the sport of football and like keep up with the game, this is going to be a very good game because I think both of these teams are very even. I think the line is correct. It actually opened up at 3 and has now gone down to 1.5. A lot of people are betting on UCF. Did you by chance look up or do you know what the how many total yards UCF gives up a game?
No, I don't know
You
that.
just look up individual. It's all good.
I don't know that.
Because I was trying to compare it to these numbers real quick. So I got Tulane offense, and that's what I kind of focused in on but they don't put up a whole lot of points every single game. They allow 17 points a game average, and they probably put up, I would say, around 27, 31 points a game. So they're not high scorers. They play, pretty sound with their competition. They average about 430 yards a game, 240 rushing, 180 passing. So they got pretty nice offense. They just sometimes they don't find ways to score. Oh, sorry. They average 33 points a game. I wrote it down. Their quarterback, Michael Pratt, he's very, very consistent. Only 4 picks, 14 touchdowns, completes about 67% of his passes. Thrown for a little under 1850. He's at like 1843. Shea Wyatt and Deuce Watts, both sick names. Those are the 2 receivers that
Deuce Watts.
They have a few receivers with over 20 receptions. So Pratt likes to spread the ball around. He has lots of trust in those guys. Deuce Watts leads the team in receiving touchdowns. He has 5, 354 yards, and 21 receptions. And then Shea Wyatt, he leads the team in yards with 383. He has 20 receptions, only 2 touchdowns. And then Ty J. Spears is the boy who gets the rock on the ground. He has 134 carries, 745 yards. He averages about 5.6 a carry, and he has 10 touchdowns on the year. So I'm going to take the Green Wave because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think they have only not covered 1 game.
I mean, you got to ride the wagon until the wheels fall off, man.
For sure. I mean, that's how it was with the Roadrunners last year, man. These have been the Tulane has been my my UTSA Roadrunners from last year.
Yeah,
no doubt. So I mean, I've been putting money on them every single week, and they've been doing me so well, and I'm going to continue to do that. And I really don't know a whole lot about either one of these teams, but what I do know is that good teams win and great teams cover the spread. Give me Tulane. Give me the 1.5.
Okay. Respect. You're taking the better team.
Yeah.
That's
and then
smart.
We are here talking about the defending champs. This was one I could not get wrong because everyone my brother knows that who's number 1 and who's daddy, and that would be the Georgia Bulldogs. They are 16.5 point favorites. And as much as I've been bragging about Georgia, I've been I've been on my high horse. I have been.
I mean, you got to be. They're playing.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt, right? Well, I was just going to say this. I said Stetson Bennett shows up in big games. Stetson Bennett does not show up in games against unranked Mississippi State teams. There is a chance. I'm not saying it's going to happen. But there's a chance he can go out there and crap all over himself and not play good. But there's also a chance Georgia keeps blowing off this momentum like a normal team would, and put up a lot of points. Mississippi State, I did go watch them. They don't have a lot of plays at all. Very, very, very little, minimal
A
plays
lot of RPOs.
where Will Rogers is going to sit in the pocket. So they're going to get rid of the ball fast, fast, fast. They do have a tempo, not as fast as Tennessee, but pretty similar. If Georgia can roll into Starkville and just make them play their game, they can easily cover the 16.5. But I'm definitely not going to bet against Georgia, and my mind can change before the time I roll into Starkville, Mississippi on Friday night. Me and Mason Thomas and Big Rod, shout out road crew right there. We're heading to Mississippi on Friday morning, but my mind can change. But as of right now, man, I don't know. I feel like Georgia might have to come back down to earth a little bit. I'm going to take Mississippi State to cover 17 points, and I'm going to pick Georgia to win the game.
Wow. I'm not. I'm picking Georgia to cover 16.5. After what Mississippi State showed me against Alabama, just shows that they aren't very. I don't think that they're playing at home has anything.
They're undefeated at home this year. Oh gosh, I forgot they played pretty bad against Auburn last week, didn't they?
Yeah.
Man, screw this. I'm taking. What am I doing? Why would you
Yeah, I
let
was
me
about to
play
say-
such a thing? I don't know.
I'm
And then
taking
watch
the
this.
dogs.
It's gonna happen. I'm gonna take UGA. I'll lay the 17.
Okay, then I'm going to go against you, and I'm going to take Mississippi State plus 16.5.
Why are you going? You are a butthole, man. Come on. Are you being serious?
No, yeah, I'm being serious. I'm going to take Mississippi State. Plus
Why?
16.5.
Are you just trying to go against me and everything?
No, because I mean, you just made a great point. Georgia can come back to earth after playing Tennessee, or they could be feeding off this momentum. And
So what if I change my mind again? What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna go right back to Georgia.
Why do you want to go against me so bad, dude?
Because we gotta have actually.
You know what?
Give me the dog to minus 16.5. I'm not
That's
taking
fine.
freaking Mississippi State. Because
Yeah.
last time I took Mississippi State, they got blown out by Alabama.
That's right.
So
Pick like you normally would. Don't pick just to pick against me. But
yeah, no, I'm gonna pick like I normally would. I'm taking Georgia minus 16.
I'll make you sleep on the back porch here in a few weeks whenever you come to town. All right. Next game, the red hot LSU Tigers, led by Big Balls Brian Kelly, heading on the road to good old Arkansas, Fayetteville, Arkansas. Sam Pittman and the Hogs. I believe they're 5-4. Man,
You win this game, you're bowl eligible.
Yeah, but they're not. Jansen, I hate to do this to you, bud, but since you want to be a butthole to me about Georgia, Mississippi State, do you remember when you had Arkansas versus Kentucky in your SEC championship game at the beginning of this year?
Bruh. Yeah. Remember when you had Miami?
No. Okay, yeah. I got it. So, who's winning this
I'm
game?
on one today.
Who's covering and why?
I don't know. I think so. Here's my thing. I think after losing to Liberty, losing your homecoming game, Sam Pittman is not going to let that fly. I think that this Arkansas team comes out and plays very well against this LSU team. It's going to be a packed house in Fayetteville. I mean, like Tennessee fans said, "Oh, Sanford isn't loud." LSU fans are probably thinking, or LSU players are probably thinking, "Oh, Arkansas is not going to be as loud as Death Valley." But I feel like these Hogs can rock, and I think that Arkansas or LSU's got a little something waiting for them in Fayetteville. So I'm going to take the Hogs plus 3, and I'm going to sprinkle on their money line. I don't think LSU. I don't know. I just become bowl I don't know. To become bowl eligible, I think Arkansas wins this week.
You think Arkansas wins, huh?
I think
Well,
Arkansas
I
wins this
would
week.
call you crazy. I would really call you crazy. But this morning, I was watching Late Kick with Josh Pate as a normal. If you love college football, go listen to his show. He is
He is
top dog. He does not
awesome.
miss.
He's not. I know he's not listening to this, but if you are, shout out.
No, I
Shout
know
out
you
Josh
are the
Pate,
reason.
man.
You are like
K-State,
one of the
baby.
main reasons I started this. But his model, his model has been spot on this year, especially the later the season's gotten. Chance,
Yeah.
his model says Arkansas -1. I'm going to
Taking the
take the
Hogs, baby.
LSU money line, and I'm going to take Arkansas to cover the 3. I feel like that is the safest option for me, and I can still get 2 points.
No, yeah, that is pretty smart. But I'm going for the long ball because I mean I don't have much time left, and I need to catch up to you. So
Well, you have 3 dog money lines right now. So
UCF,
TCU, now
TCU,
Arkansas.
and Arkansas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to waste any time on this. Give me a Ole Miss +12, and give me their money line as well. Actually, so I'm taking Ole Miss to win this game. And Bama teams in the past, they would show up after a loss, but this team seems so deflated and like they just don't care. Ole Miss still has everything to play for. They're at home. Bama sucks on the road. Shocker. They cannot win a game on the road. And give me Ole Miss and give me Lane Kiffin. Another former assistant will beat Nick Saban. And the Rebels are still fighting for a shot to play in the SEC championship game. Ole Miss +12, Ole Miss money line. I don't even know if Bryce Young's like really complete 100% healthy either. So
Yeah, I'm taking Ole Miss +12.5 as well, but I'm not taking their money line. I'm taking Alabama money line. I don't think they lose back-to-back weeks, but if they do, I wouldn't be surprised. And if they do, man, I am just slamming Alabama next week on here.
me too.
Like I
Me
mean, I
too.
have this week, but it's gonna be worse
Oh
than this
yeah,
week.
and just for anybody else that's listening, yes, I know
Shout
Alabama.
out Bryce Young. No, you're a big waste of talent. Wish
He's
Quinn
not.
Ewers was as talented as you were because if he was, Texas would be a national champions. So
Alabama is number 9, and Ole Miss is number 11 in the playoff poll after last night. They are not 6-13. Once again, my apologies. But I do think the number 11 ranked Ole Miss Rebels will beat the number 9 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide at home in the vault this week. So, yeah. Is there anything else, or is this it?
Bearder.
Wow. Okay. Nice. We went
We
through
got
it
the
fast today,
DDP.
man.
What's up?
Went through it fast today.
We did. We were on good pace today.
I really do appreciate it. I'm not getting up for the Bearder pick this week. He's still asleep back there. There he is. But the Bearder's actually going to get taken down.
He had too much beer.
Boys.
He had too much beer this weekend after.
He had too much beer last night on T-Shirt Tuesday.
Oh yeah.
But I just found out not too long ago that the Bearder's going to have to come down. We're going to have to move him somewhere else, but they're adding a sliding door to cover this because the door right there broke. So, and they said I have to take down the Bearder. So we'll find a way to get him involved still. But last week we gave out 2 picks. They were both action games. It was in the same action game. We had Western Michigan +4.5. That hit. And we had Western Michigan versus Bowling Green in the over 45.5. That did not. That moved the Bearder to 4-3. This week we're giving out 3 picks. We're going to try and keep up with the amount of weeks we have, so he can have a record just like a team would. So we have to give out some picks. So action again tonight. Bowling Green +2.5 at home. They're dogs. Take them. UNLV on Friday night. You don't take a Friday night home dog. You don't bet against them. UNLV +10.5 against Fresno State. And if you bet against Virginia, you win money. So Pittsburgh -2.5. Lock them all up. Those are all what the Bearders got to say this week. Hopefully we can go 3 for 3. That'd be nice. And go 7 for 3 so far. That'd be pretty nice.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. But those are the best bets for this week so far that I have. And now, well, I have a hefty amount of money on Texas. So
Go Frogs, baby.
I can't believe you made me do that.
Hey, man, your money where your mouth is. That's basically what I just told you to do. But all right.
I know it. But yep. So do not forget, we have a contest going on. Leave your comments down below. The games are Texas TCU, UNC Wake Forest, UCF Tulane, UGA Mississippi State, LSU Arkansas, and Bama Ole Miss. Tell us who you think is going to win. Tell us who you think is going to cover. Whoever racks up the most points will have the opportunity to come on next week and make the picks with us or a pod in the future. So,
Yes, sir.
if you want to pull up the socials page real quick, we're working on, or I should say, I'm working on how to get a TikTok going for us, but we'll have to figure that out.
I don't know how to. I don't know how to do all that. So
I don't either, but we'll figure it out.
we'll figure it out somehow.
Don't forget to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, like we said at the beginning of the video. I started tweeting out a little bit more at going_for2 on Twitter. We'd greatly appreciate a follow on there. Yeah, man, that's about all I got. You got anything else you want to add?
Nope. Go Frogs. That's all I gotta say.
And go Dogs. God first. God bless. We love you all. Thank you very much. Have a great
Yes,
day.
thank y'all so much. Y'all